We begin in the Northwest Territories, where the Łutsel Dene First Nation has won its lawsuit against a former CEO. The N.W.T. Supreme Court has found that Ron Barlas acted in an extreme and egregious manner. As a result of the decision, he's been permanently removed from his role. It is a bizarre case involving luxurious lifestyles and millions of dollars. The CBC's Luke Carroll read through the decision, and he joins me now with more. So Luke, tell me about this decision.
So first of all, it basically determined that there was no need for a trial here, that there was enough evidence that Barlas to determine that Barlas had defrauded the economic arm of the Łutsel Dene First Nation. So this was based on evidence that was available. There was boxes of documents at the courthouse. So Justice Karen Chainer found that there was no doubt that he had exploited the First Nations companies for his and his family's gain. So in a nutshell, the Łutsel Dene First Nation was arguing that Barlas had defrauded the company in a number of ways. This included not disclosing important information and conflicts of interest. Some of those conflicts included contracts with companies owned by his wife, contracts the Łutsel Dene First Nation had with companies his wife owned. So this resulted in serious financial gain for their entire family. But Justice Chainer's findings also determined that even if Barlas had properly disclosed this information, the agreement and the transactions are, quote, clearly not reasonable, fair, or in the best interest of LKDFN companies, end quote. So Barlas also changed the company's bylaws and conflict of interest rules and the board of directive policies, which gave him more control. So Barlas's response in this lawsuit was essentially that it was all above board because he got approval from the director of the companies. But Justice Chainer found that this wasn't adequate. She said that the director did not always understand what it was that he was signing.
Okay, so you mentioned that the decision talks about how Barlas and his family benefited from these actions. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so it found that they were living a very luxurious lifestyle as a result of these actions. So this includes corporate credit card charges for food, for tuition, travel, jewelry, even plastic surgery. So money went towards lease payments on a condo in downtown Vancouver. It also covered all the living expenses for his adult children. There was a gaming room for Barlas's adult son. There were multiple properties, which included a gym, a games room, and even a bar, Megan.
Okay, so you definitely mentioned the family there. This wasn't the only decision released. Barlas isn't the only one involved in the lawsuit. So can you tell us about the people and the companies accused of helping Barlas?
For sure. So the first one would be Barlas's wife, Ziba Barlas. So she ran several companies that were involved with the Łutsel Dene First Nation, and Justice Chainer found she had knowingly assisted and benefited from her husband's transactions. A second decision was released that basically gave the Łutsel Dene First Nation the green light to begin legal proceedings against two companies. So one of them is KPMG, who is accused of issuing misleading financial statements on behalf of Barlas. And then there's the law firm of Reynolds, Mirth, Richards, and Farmer, which is accused of giving legal advice on transactions that Barlas used to defraud the First Nations companies. So I reached out to Barlas, KPMG, and the law firm. KPMG and Reynolds, Mirth, Richards, and Farmer deny any wrongdoing, and Barlas didn't respond to my request by deadline. So in the end, Megan, Justice Chainer says the only thing that's really left to determine here is how much money Barlas owes the First Nation.
Okay, that's quite a case, Luke. Thanks so much for bringing us up to date.
Thanks for having me.